Good afternoon. This afternoon we're going to graph a quadratic formula, and the quadratic equation is x squared plus 6x plus 5. We're going to factor this out. To get our x squared, it's just simply x times x, which will give us x squared. Now, both of our other terms are positive, so that means both of these are going to be positive. Now, what do we have that we could have? We could add up to be 6 and multiply to be 5. Now I'm going to go out on a limb here and say 1 and 5. That's the only two things that 1 times 5 equals 5. That's the only two terms that we can have that equal to 5. Now we've got x times x, or x times x is x squared. Then we got, and I'm using the FOIL method, by the way, first outer, inner, last. So that was the first, and then the two outer ones, which is going to be a positive x5 or 5x. The inner terms, which is this one and this one, which is going to be plus x. And then last, which is the two last terms, which is 1 times 5, and it's simply going to be 5. Combined like terms, we have x squared plus 6x plus 5. Okay? Now, get rid of this. Get rid of this. So we have our two terms are x plus 1, x plus 5. That's what x equals to. So x equals 1 comma 5. Okay. Now if we was to graph this to find the other to see what our graph looks like, we can substitute one, two, three, four. Let's do 4 anyway to start with. And we know that one of the x terms is -1, correct? So let's start right here with -1. So when we multiply -1 back into our original equation, we got -1 squared, which is simply 1 plus 6 times -1, which is a -6. So -6 plus 1 is going to be a -5, plus 5 is going to be a 0. So our first point is at -1, 0. So here's -1, 0. So let's do a -2. So when we substitute -2 in, -2 squared is 4, plus 6 times -2, which is -12. So we got -12 plus 4, which is -8, plus 5. -8 plus 5 gives us a -3. Correct? So our second point is -2, -3. So we got -2, -3. do a -3 here. So we put -3 in. -3 squared is 9, plus -3 times 6 is -18. So we got -18 plus 9 gives us -9, plus 5 gives us -4. Okay? So we got -3, -4. 1, 2, 3, -4. It's about right here. Now let's go 0. So when we substitute 0 in, we got 0 plus 0 plus 5. So if our x value is 0, then it's going to be a plus 5, which is going to be up here. Okay? Let's do a -4. -4 squared is 16, plus 4 times 6 is 24, but it's a negative, so it's a -24 plus 16, which is going to be -8 plus 5. -8 plus 5 gives us a -3. -3. This is 5 here, by the way. So we got -4, 1, 2, 3, 4. -3, 1, 2, 3. Looks like we have a parabola. And if we connect the dots, I claim that that's what it's going to look like. So if you take the quadratic equation and factor it out, then plug numbers in, you will get, and by the way, we said x equals -1, -5. So we want to use those numbers that we plug in between -1 and -5. That's going to give us our points. And I thank you for following me, and have a wonderful day.